Midlothian, hey, I'm here with Ken Lundberg. He is the Republican, or he is a candidate on the Republican primary ticket for the 443rd District Court Judge.
Yes, sir.
Again, that's a lot of words. I managed to get through it somehow. Ken, how are you doing?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me.
So, Ken, what exactly prompted you to run for this position?
Okay, so the reason I wanted to run for the 443rd, I think probably at a base level, is because I care about this community. Ellis County is where I grew up. It's where I started my career. It's where my wife Rebecca and I decided to start our family. And so I think any opportunity that I can take to serve and further the goals of our community, which is one that puts family first, I just kind of took the opportunity to jump at that. Also, I'm currently serving as an associate district court judge, which has taught me how to efficiently run a docket and a courtroom. And so I think I'm a really good fit for this position. So in short, I want to serve the community in which I live, and I think I'd be the best person for this job.
Okay. Well, talk about your current position. You're the associate judge for family and juvenile court.
Yes. So I'm the only candidate in the race right now that is currently serving as a judge. I work in the 378 District Court, and I am the associate judge. It's actually the first associate judge position that Ellis County created. I've been there a little over a year now, and essentially that position came about because there was an overflow in the 378, and so they brought me on to help deal with that. And since taking the bench there, we've been able to essentially cut down the time it's taking to get to temporary hearings, which in a family case, which has ultimately cut down the time it's taken to get to final trial. And so I think it's been wildly successful, and I'm ready to kind of apply those principles to the district bench.
Okay, so expanding the court, certainly a sign of growth within our community.
Absolutely.
Everybody's aware of how much that's going on.
Yep.
So the position you're in now, were you elected to this position, or were you appointed, or how did that come about?
So I was appointed to the position. It's not an elected position. So I work for the elected official, who is Judge Wallace in our court.
Judge Wallace. Okay, William Wallace. All right, and if you are elected, what do you hope to accomplish in the short term? Like, do you have like a 90-day out of the gate kind of strategy set up yet?
Right. Okay. So the short-term goals that I see for the 443rd is going to be day one to start tackling the backlog. As you said, our county is growing by leaps and bounds. We are experiencing exponential growth across the board, and that's translating to more and more cases being filed in our court system each year. In the 443rd, there were almost double the amount of cases filed last year compared to the year before that. I think it was close to around 2,100 cases, whereas that was for 2023. And in 2022, I think there was only around 1,200 cases that were filed. So as a judge, you don't have any control over how many cases get filed, but you've got to process them once they get there. So the first thing, day one, that needs to be the biggest priority is to start working through the backlog of cases that we're currently seeing.
Okay, and we're probably still dealing with somewhat of a backlog from the shutdown a few years ago, or have we gotten through that?
Right. No, I think that's definitely one of the factors. I think there's a handful of different factors that have kind of contributed to our current situation. One being the kind of current composition of the courts. Another one being March of 2020. There was a shutdown that might have gone on longer than it needed to, and then finally, on top of all the growth that we're experiencing, has definitely created kind of a bottleneck in that particular court.
Okay, well, it sounds like you've got your work cut out for you if you get elected in the short term. What about your long-term goals? What do you see for that position in the long term?
So in the long term, I think that as I kind of just previously mentioned, the composition of the courts, I think working with the other judges to kind of address the current situation to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future again. Because right now we have 3 district courts here in Ellis County. We have the 40th, the 378th, and the 443rd. And each of them handle different areas of the law compared, based off of each judge's kind of, focused area of practice and then the overall caseload. And I think right now, where we have the 443rd only handles one type of case, can lead to a bottleneck occurring, essentially, because the way cases get filed is not necessarily linear. There's not one civil case filed for every criminal case. One year, you might have above average year for criminal cases being filed, which we did have last year. And so you'll see an overflow in one court. Another year, there's a possibility there could be other types of cases that were filed in a greater abundance. So I think us kind of working together to devise a system or provide some kind of relief valve, like once we hit a certain number, to start diverting some of that caseload maybe to some other courts so that it's more evenly distributed. And that way we don't kind of wind up back in the same spot that we're in right now.
Very good, very good. Well, why don't you expand on your unique qualifications for the position?
Okay. So I am the only candidate who's currently serving as a judge. So I'm down in the courtroom, in the courthouse, every day. And so I have firsthand knowledge of all the work that needs to be done. I work in the 378th. I've handled cases for all 3 of the district courts. I've presided over family dockets, criminal dockets, juvenile dockets, mental health dockets, civil dockets. And I really think that we need somebody who's ready to hit the ground running day one when they're elected. And specifically, even though I work in the 378th, I've already started pitching in and helping out in the 443rd. Because we've seen the overflow in that case. It's no secret down at the courthouse and the overflow that court is experiencing. And so I've taken it upon myself to carve out time in my docket or in my daily schedule to start handling cases for that court because they need the help. And that's if there's a need, then I'm the kind of guy who steps up and gets it done.
Okay, and when you say presided, that's as a judge in those different courts.
Yes,
okay, great. And that's not your only experience in those courts, right? No,
absolutely. So other than being a judge, I also was an attorney for a number of years. And, it's truly humbling to be an attorney and to have someone hire you to represent them in their potentially life-altering legal dispute. And so I think that my combined experience, both on the bench as a judge, learning how to manage a courtroom and a docket, combined with the fact that I've served as an attorney, gives me the ability to really view cases from multiple different perspectives or angles and ultimately give each case the consideration that it deserves.
Very good, very good. Well, how do you handle making tough decisions as opposed to being a lawyer, towards a judge who has to make those decisions?
Okay. So as a judge, you have to be fair and impartial. That goes without saying, okay? And apply the laws to the facts that are presented in each and every case, okay? And as a judge, you have to follow the law, even if that means that you don't necessarily like the result. If this is what the law dictates in any particular case, that's what you have to do, okay? And as far as cases that might be more contentious, I think it's very important from someone sitting on the bench to ensure that each person that's coming before the court is treated with respect and given an opportunity to be heard. Because even if they don't necessarily agree with or like the result of a case, they're going to respect the process if they've had an opportunity to tell their story.
Great, great. Well, just as an overarching concept, being a judge is an integral part of the justice system as a whole. Mm-hmm. When I say the word justice, what does that mean to you?
To me, that means strictly adhering to the letter of the law. A judge has got to be fair and impartial, like I said. Justice is said to be blind. And so as a judge, you have to give people the opportunity to tell their side of the case and then take those facts that are elicited through evidence and apply the law as written, essentially.
Okay. So, real quick, just kind of, if you can give us a little idea of who you are as a person, your background. I know you're a local to Midlothian, and you practice in Midlothian. Just a little bit about your history and your law career.
Okay. So I grew up here in Ellis County. I graduated from Midlothian High School, which is where I met my wife, Rebecca. After that, I went to the University of Texas for undergrad and SMU for law school. After law school, I practiced as an attorney in Midlothian at a law office with my father. And there, as a lawyer, we kind of saw our office as more of a small town practice. So we would handle all different types of cases that would come through the door. But my primary focus as an attorney was probably family and criminal law. And since after working as an attorney for a number of years, I've now since taken the bench. And I guess on a personal level, kind of consider myself an avid outdoorsman. I like to hunt, I like to fish. So if I'm not in the courtroom, then I'm usually in the woods or on the water. And but I'd say most importantly I'm a father, I'm a husband, and Ellis County is a place that really puts family first, and that's why Rebecca and I chose to start our family here. And I'd have to say probably one of our favorite things to do as a family is to take our camper out to one of our state parks and spend a few nights by the campfire.
Ken, that makes my heart happy.
So there you go.
Well, as we're wrapping up, why don't you just take the opportunity to speak directly to the people of Midlothian and tell them anything that you want them to know as you head towards the polls.
Okay. Well, thank you all for watching. My name is Ken Lundberg. I'm running for judge of the 443rd District Court. As I said, I grew up right here in Ellis County, and I'm currently serving the citizens of Ellis County as an associate district court judge. Since taking the bench, I've handled cases for all 3 of our district courts, and I think that we need to elect somebody who's ready to hit the ground running day one, given the backlog in our current system. I think I can do just that, given my experience. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve as an associate judge. It's my desire to continue to serve the citizens of Ellis County from the district bench, and that's why I'm running for the 443rd District Court. So on March 5th, go out and vote for Ken Lundberg.
Ken, once again, thanks for spending time with us. Midlothian, thanks for taking the time to watch this video and learn about the candidates for the election. Once again, figure out ahead of time who you want to vote for, learn about the position, go into the polls with a firm understanding of what you're doing for your country and your local community. And once again, stay classy.